Welcome to Knife Chats. If you like this video, please take a moment to leave a comment. Thank you. So I recently picked up a Byrd knife. These knives are made by Spyderco. This is their economy brand basically. And we see here that this particular knife is the Meadowlark. It has an ambidextrous one-hand opening, has a lanyard hole, a pocket clip. It's designed by Spyderco Inc. and the blade steel is an 8CR13 MOV. So that's your chromium, molybdenum, so on and so forth. In any case, it's 8CR13 MOV stainless steel. And here we have the knife, and like I said, it's the Meadowlark. This is the way it comes. It comes with a the clip set up for right hand tip up carry. And what I like about the Spydercos is that Spyderco flip you can do with the hole, and you just grab it and you can flip down and it opens. So you got easy one-hand opening. It doesn't close quite as easily, but you can actually, detent the thing and then press against your side and close the knife easy enough. The Byrd has a bird's eye instead of a Spyderco hole or Spidey hole. So it doesn't seem to move as smoothly, but then you know what, this knife only costs $27 as opposed to $127, so I can live with that for right now. The cool thing I do like about this knife is, like I mentioned, it is set right now for right-handed tip-up carry, but you have holes on the other side for left-handed tip-up carry and also right or left-handed tip down carry. And the way I'm actually thinking of carrying this knife will probably require me having it as a left-handed tip down carry, so I will need to switch this around, which shouldn't be too hard. And the reason I want to do that is because this is going to be easy enough for me to just grab in my pocket and pull out with the thumb hole if I have it set as left-handed tip down carry. I can understand why a lot of people like tip-up carry, but for me, this particular knife is going to work better as a left-handed tip-down carry. And so, hold on a little bit, and I'm going to change the clip around on here. Okay, so here we are at the workbench, and you'll see here that the back of this is, or the clip, it's hard to focus there, but you see that it's held on by a bunch of little Torx screws. This is very common in modern folders, and what you're going to need to do is get some kind of little Torx set. I actually got this one free at a trade show, so you can usually pick one up at like any of the little the big box hardware stores. You can usually pick these up for like $3 or $4. So they're not an expensive thing, but they're an investment you're going to need if you're going to be doing anything with these modern folders, because Torx screws are used throughout them. And among other things, you use these to adjust the tension on your flipper knives and everything so that they'll work better. And also on really cheap knives, once you flip them about a half dozen times, the blade starts getting significant blade wobble, and you actually have to go in here and tighten them up. That's not what we're doing today, though. What we're doing today is we're going to take this pocket clip, we're going to remove it, and we're going to move it to somewhere else. And one thing you'll notice with a lot of my knives, pocket clips are gone, because basically if you have a pocket clip on your knife and you're using it, it's going to be sticking out of your pocket a little bit, and if you're in a place where you're not supposed to be carrying a pocket knife, it's a dead giveaway that you got a knife and somebody's going to confiscate it on you. So I take off a lot of pocket clips. On this one though, I'm just going to move it, because where I'm going to be carrying this, it'll be okay to have the knife showing. So this is a pretty cool set because it has multiple things in the handle. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different sizes of Torx. I happen to know that this is the size I need for the little Byrd here. So notice, I don't know what size that is. let's say there, T-6. Let's get this thing going here. You just basically stick it in there and give it a turn. Hard part is not losing any of the little pieces. And I even have a clue for that one. First of all, do it somewhere where you're not going to drop them on the floor, because once they're on the floor, you'll never find them. Okay, so now all the screws are out. And so that I don't lose them, I take my Great Smoky Mountain refrigerator magnet / bottle opener, and I pick up those 3 screws. They're nicely held in place now. I don't have to worry about losing them. Now if I just wanted to drop the knife in my pocket and not use a pocket clip anymore, I'm set. All I have to do is put this somewhere where it won't get lost, along with those screws, like drop them in a Ziploc bag and then put them in the box that the knife came in. But because I'm going to reuse this, I'm going to flip it over and, like I said, make it a left-handed tip down carry. I just need to get this thing positioned, grab a screw, slip it in there. The first one's always the hardest. Get it lined up. Now when you're putting in the screws, the idea is to just get it in there loose enough so that you can do the final adjusting at the end. So don't tighten one down all the way. It's just like whenever you're changing the tires, your tire, you don't tighten all the lug nuts all the way down. You tighten it so that you get it in place, and then you go around and snug them up a little bit at a time until you get it nice and tight. That way you won't strip a screw or anything else. But once you strip it, it's ruined. Okay, so now my Meadowlark is set for left hand tip up carry. And the reason I'm doing that is so that when this is sitting in my back pocket, I will be able to just get my thumb right down in there, and then when I pull it out of my back pocket, I'll be able to just flip it open right away. And the reason I want to do that is, I guess, so I can open it up faster. And I'm thinking about using this knife when I go fishing, so it should be a useful knife. Basically, the Meadowlark is nothing more than just a small 4-inch folding hunter. I mean, let's look at blade length here. This is probably more like a 3.5 inch, but you see the blade length is about the same, especially usable blade length. Obviously, the Meadowlark has a different blade shape because of the big hole, which allows for one end opening. Here we have a mini sod buster, and about the same length of blade on there. So if you start thinking about this as just a modern sod buster with a slightly different blade shape simply because of the hole up there, really not that big of a deal. Yeah, so yeah, it's a modern folder, but we'll see how this works out. And the Meadowlark costs about the same amount as case sod buster, so, and the blade steel is probably about equivalent to what you have in the stainless steel sod busters. This is chrome vanadium, so it's a little bit different. It's a carbon steel, but we'll see how it compares and how well it holds up next time I go fishing. I'm going to take this and see how it works, and then I'll report back about it. That is, if I actually catch something. I should look at a few other things on this knife straight out of the box. If you notice, the blade is pretty much in the center of the channel there pretty well, and not a lot of movement, a little bit but not much. Once it's open though, it is tight as can be. You got the jumping up there so you can really get your hand there, so that's really good. Very positive backlock, very strong, so I don't think it's going to have a real problem. And just a really good finish on it. I'm going to have to polish this out, which, I guess that's what happens when you decide to move things around. But the ability to move this pocket clip in 4 different places is a real big plus, especially on a $27 knife. There's a lot of more expensive knives out there that do not give you that many options on the pocket clip. So really happy with that. I did take a step up on this. You can get a cheaper Meadowlark, but I went with the one with the aluminum sides, or it might be stainless steel sides. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. I'll put the note in the comments. But I really liked it with the nice shiny brushed aluminum or brushed stainless steel sides, and it's a really nice contrast to the polish on the blade. Really nice looking knife, straight out of the box. I'm very impressed with it, and $27 is definitely a knife that anyone can afford. So if you're looking for a Spyderco but you don't want to spend the $100 and some odd on it, you might want to consider looking at the Byrd line of their economy knives. That's where I'm starting. We'll see how this goes. If I really like it, then maybe I'll go ahead and look for something with a better quality steel and get a more expensive Spyderco. But for right now, I'm pretty happy with the Meadowlark. We'll see how it works out though. So just a quick recap, the knife is actually the Byrd Meadowlark2. It arrives straight out of the box with a right-handed tip-up carry pocket clip, but that can be positioned on any of the 4 corners of the knife. The Byrd line of knives is Spyderco's economy brand. A main distinguishing feature of the knife is a bird's eye in place of the Spidey hole or Spyderco finger hole. I opted to spend a couple bucks extra and get one with the stainless steel handle instead of the FRN or fiberglass reinforced nylon handles, which are about $3 or $4 less than this. And I also got the one with a plain edge instead of the half serrated edge. And just a quick recap on all the specifications. The knife overall length is 6 7/8 of an inch. The closed length of it is 3 15/16 of an inch. And the blade length is 2 15/16 of an inch. The blade thickness at the spine is 3/32 of an inch, and the overall weight of the knife is 3.75 ounces or 106 grams. The blade steel is 8CR13 MOV, which is a Chinese steel that is equivalent to AUS 8 or a little bit better than a 440A, but not quite as good as a 440C, depending on the heat treating and everything else. The blade actually locks in place using a center lock back, and essentially the knife is just a slip joint folder. So in many ways, it is very much a throwback, even though most people do consider it a modern folding knife. When you think about it, it's really nothing more than a very elegant looking folding hunter. And I've heard the blade geometry described as both a modified Wharncliffe and also a modified drop point. I think the easiest thing to do is just call it the typical Spyderco blade, because that shape, anytime you see it, most people think of a Spyderco. I've only been using it for a couple days now, but I'm really impressed with it. I was a person who wasn't too crazy about Spydercos for the longest time, but this little Byrd is changing my mind on it. So I might find myself picking up a more expensive Spyderco in the near future. But for right now, I'm just going to play around with my little Meadowlark2 and see how it goes. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Knife Chats, and if you did, please like and share it with your friends. Comments are always welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode of Knife Chats is up online. Thanks again. Hope to see you soon.